Hello, this is MrTriPie, and today I'm going to show you some of Blender 2.8's new normal editing tools. Alright, so Blender's new normal editing tools are under Mesh and Normals. So you can right click the menu or any of the individual ones to add them to your quick favorites to make them easier to get to. Okay, so first if you hit Q, there's Recalculate Outside, which was already there, and basically does an automatic calculation putting all of the normals pointing to the outside of the mesh. Then there's Recalculate Inside, which does the same thing except for it makes them all pointing inside the mesh, so inside out. And then there's Flip Normals, which just flips it to the opposite side of where it's already pointing, which was also already a thing. To use the other features, we'll need to enable Auto Smooth. So now they aren't grayed out anymore. So first we might want to show the actual direction the normals are pointing. So we can go into Overlay and Normals and hit the one in the middle here. And now we have these little lines pointing, showing where the direction of the normals are going. So the first new option we have is Set from Faces, which will basically set the normals all to be pointing straight out of the face and not averaged, unless we got maybe multiple ones. And then we hit it. So the ones in the middle will be averaged, while the ones on the edges will be coming straight out. Now I'll show you a case where Set from Faces is really useful later in this video. The next option is Rotate Normal, which lets you just simply rotate them around. And we got some options like the angle, axis constraints, etc. So let's just undo that. The next option we got is to point normals to target. So as you can see, it's pointing all of them to my mouse. You can also have some other options here like point to pivot, which is pointing it all to the pivot point in the middle, and point to object origin. Got R to reset normals, and a bunch of other options, some more options on the bottom here. So if we wanted to, we could hit M to go back into mouse mode, point up, and set 0, 0, and maybe real big number here to get them all pointing straight up, which is useful for things like grass where you want to have a nice consistent shading. Okay, so next we got Split, which simply marks all the selected things as sharp. The same thing would happen if you hit Control E, mark sharp. And then if it's marked sharp, you can go into Q and merge, and it does the same thing as if you hit Q to open up your normals and merge. So that functionality was basically already there. Next up, we got average normals, which averages them. So let's say we pointed them all over here, then hit Q and average. I'll just reset it to the standard averaged out normals. So next we got copy. So we could maybe go and select a vertex and hit Q, copy, select all, and paste, and then all of them will be pointing in the same direction as the one we copied. Alright. Next we got multiply and add, which I believe just take the copied normal and then multiplies it with the current normal or adds it with the current normal. Then we got reset, which will reset it to normal. We got Smoothen, which smooths it. And And we got face select, which is for the new weighted normal modifier. And set strength, which is also for the new normal weighted modifier. I'm not really sure what exactly these two that are grayed out, normal vector and face strength are. I'm not sure how to use them, or if they're maybe not quite ready yet. Let me know in the comments if you know anything about that. Okay, so here's a situation where the set face is going to be useful in. So say you wanted to have some nice beveled edges, and the thing about beveled edges is that to get this smoothing to look quite the way you want it, you need a lot of edges, and that's not very good poly count wise, especially if you're doing something like a game, because if you compare it to this, it kind of looks somewhere in between the correct one and just a smooth regular cube with no bevel. You got some of the shading artifacts like the dark going on the sides here. So that's not really good. So what you can do is you can copy it, bring it over, turn on auto smooth, and bring up the angle so that it's actually smooth and not automatically flattening it. Then what you can go is tab into edit mode and hit 3 and select each of these guys, each of your big faces that aren't the beveled faces, and hit Q and set from faces. And what this did is it just pointed these straight up, so they're shading like the regular cube is, or how it basically ends up when everything's averaged out with a very high poly cube. And then these are then blended with a shading to give that curved look. So it ends up shading quite similarly to the high polyed one. It's got a little bit of a bevel, so it looks a lot nicer and would be great for a video game. Now there's another option for this. So I could also copy this and have a new one, turn on the auto smooth, bring this up so that it's doing that. There's a new modifier. They already had the regular normal edit modifier, which kind of does a radial or a directional one, taking in an input of an object or an offset. But now they got the weighted normal one, and you can do face area, and it'll do the same thing automatically, and maybe bring up the influence, so bring it all the way up to 100, and maybe apply it, and you'll see that it did the same thing automatically for you. So this is really great. This was MrTriPie, and thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.